If you focus on this one thing, it'll make all your networking easier. I'm Greg, I'm the Introverted Networker, and today I'm going to talk about one thing you can do to make networking easier for you. And it gets into mindset. I know mindset gets thrown around a lot and people talk about mindsets, but honestly, what gets in our way in a lot of things in life is the things we say in our own heads, our own mindsets. So reframing things in our head helps us get into a different mindset, helps make some of those things easier. So whenever we're putting up our own internal obstacles, we change our minds or our mindsets and things tend to get easier. When it comes to networking, there's a lot of things we tell ourselves like, this is going to be awkward, or I don't really want to do it, or I don't want to ask for favors, or people are going to think I'm trying to sell them something, I'm going to irritate people. We have a lot of stories we make up in our heads, and that's our mindset. Changing your mindset about networking comes down to doing one thing, and that is getting into a giving mindset. Sounds really simple and straightforward. When you approach networking from a giving mindset, most of the obstacles that you put up in your own head go away. What's a giving mindset? I want to start with what a giving mindset is not, because oftentimes in networking, people don't want to do it because they picture networking with this idea that you're going to be collecting favors from people. So if you think I'm going to scratch your back, you scratch mine. If you say that kind of stuff, you're probably not in the right mindset. And that's probably why you don't want to do it, because you're thinking of this outdated point of view of country clubs where people who are rich white dudes get together and they all play golf and they like say, well, if you help my business, I'll help your business. That's really not what networking's about. That's something I hate. I mean, number one, I don't hate golf. I like playing golf. It just takes up so much time. So I really don't spend much time on golf or playing it. And I just don't like the whole atmosphere at the country club. Not every golf course is like that, but I don't like the whole everybody's there to make connections to help them. Now they are, and that is the reality of life, that people make connections and that helps them with their business or their work or whatever it is they do in life, their charity that they run or whatever. People make connections to get help from other people. That's realistic. Most of us aren't going to be going to the country club. Most of us are going to be trying to connect with people in a way to, make sure we find opportunities and can find new jobs and can find new business opportunities. That's why we connect with people. The mindset you want to go in with a giving mindset is that you're going to give for the sake of giving. So I said, again, giving mindset is not like I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine, or it's quid pro quo or any of those sort of things. If you hear that or you think that, then again, you're doing it wrong. Getting in a giving mindset means you're going to help other people for the sake of helping other people. Long term, absolutely, yes, you want to find a new job. Absolutely, yes, you want to find new customers. Absolutely, yes, you want to be connected with people who can give you advice, help you find other people who can help you. Those are all the benefits of networking. Those are all things networking can do for you. I will tell you, my network that I have built over the years, doing all these things that I talk about doing on a daily basis on LinkedIn, every week in this newsletter, doing these things has created a network for me that is my number one asset in my career, in my new business that I'm creating, in my life. My network is the number one asset I have. And I've spent time growing it. I've spent time cultivating it, whatever word you want to use. It's all come down to having a giving mindset. And I try to give value to my network all the time. I don't know when they're going to reciprocate for me. I know it's going to happen, but I don't keep score. I don't collect favors. I don't say you owe me one. I don't do any of that sort of stuff. I know that when I go into it to give, I'm going to receive somewhere down the road. And I usually get a lot more back than I put into it. it's an amazing thing. It's like an upcycle type of thing. Upcycling is, we talk about, cows eat grass and they turn into beef, right? So it's like one of nature's great upcyclers. When you give, you tend to upcycle the karma, I would say. You give a little bit and people come back to you and say, what can I do? And it's usually more than you gave. That's just what I've seen. But part of that is because they want to give back to me. So again, let's get back to what the giving mindset is. The giving mindset is you're giving for the sake of giving. You're giving because when you give, think about how good it feels. When you are able to help somebody, you receive the benefit immediately, that sort of whatever, whether it's dopamine or some other brain chemical of seeing somebody benefit from what you gave them. You get that immediate gratification just by giving. The delayed gratification comes from them giving back to you at some point in the future. So you get both when you have the giving mindset. You get both an immediate gratification for helping somebody without the expectation of them doing something for you. It just feels good to give. And you get the benefit of reciprocity down the road. You don't even have to go out and ask for it usually. You might have to say like, hey, I'd like to talk to you. I'd like to get your point of view on something. And then people will remember, hey, you helped me so much. I would love to help you. That's how people operate. That's how we all operate. We're coming into this time of year where it's November, and in the United States, we have our Thanksgiving holiday coming up at the end of the year. We're going to be grateful for what we have. And then we're going to roll right into December, and there's multiple religious holidays that are focused around giving. And you've always heard it's better to give than receive. We've heard that since we were kids. I mean, if you remember when you're a little kid, if you participated in these holidays, you were so excited to get the presents, and you got those presents. And then all of a sudden, a few days later, those new presents, they weren't as exciting anymore. You played with them all day on Christmas Day or any of the other days. If you celebrate Hanukkah, you got a gift, for 8 nights, and it's probably okay at the time. And then a few days later, you're thinking, I don't care. It's just another thing I have. But as you get older and you become somebody who you don't think about what you're going to get, you think about what you're going to give. It's much more satisfying to give things to people and experience the giving. And we all get in that mood this time of year. So we know that, giving feels good. It feels good to give. Again, as you become an adult, you don't think about getting presents. In most cases, many adults don't want to get presents. I mean, I always tell my family, like, don't give me anything. I actually don't want anything else. But again, the giving mindset, let's go back to networking in how you can give to people. I think number one, like I said, the giving mindset is give without expectation of immediate reciprocation. Give for the sake of giving. Give because it's going to make you feel good about what you gave to the other person. If you go into that, you are not going to feel awkward about asking anybody for anything. You are not going to feel awkward about talking to people. You are taking an opportunity to try to impact somebody else's life. And you can do that by talking to people throughout the week. Your connections, reach out to people, try to help them, offer to help. Sometimes just offering to help. Like some people will say like, hey, I'm doing this, and I'll be like, well, what can I do to help you? And they're like, well, I don't really know right now, but just the offer helps, people feel more connected to you. So offer to help. And maybe they'll ask you something and you're like, wow, yeah, I don't know anything. I can't help you with that, but here's what I can do. And you give them something else. So again, give for the sake of giving. I think that goes without saying. Another part of this is don't overthink the giving. I am a terrible Christmas gift giver, a birthday gift giver. I'm so bad at giving people gifts. And part of it is because I overthink it. These people in my life, my family, I think, well, what would they really enjoy? What would they really like? And I overthink it. And so I get paralyzed in the overthinking. When I think about networking with my professional connections, I tend to just think, what's an idea I could give them? What's a book I read that they would be interested in? What's a podcast I listened to that I want to share with them? What's some article I read online that would probably impact them? What's an experience or piece of advice that I've learned over time that would be valuable to them? Like that is enough in giving to other people for them to appreciate your giving. So as part of the giving mindset, it's don't overthink it. Don't make it too big. Find something small. Smaller is better because you can give smaller things more frequently, more often, and you're going to, again, establish that relationship with people if you give more often. So let's, again, do it for the sake of doing it. Keep it small, and people are naturally going to want to give back to you, sometimes right away. Be a good recipient. Be a good giving recipient. And what I mean by that is, the other way I say this is be easy to help. Once you've given to somebody, they are going to naturally turn around and want to help you out. And the reason is reciprocity. I talk about it like the concept of karma, and whether you believe in that or not, it doesn't matter. But let's just think of it in terms of you've given to somebody, they want to give back right away because they don't want to feel like they owe you. And again, you're not asking them to owe you, but people are naturally going to say, like, I really want to give back to him because I want to be balanced in the scales of karma or the universe. It's natural. It's subconscious. They won't even be thinking about it. They're just like, I got to do something for Greg because Greg did something for me. If somebody says, hey, I really want to help you out, how can I help you? Say, have an idea like, hey, I'd really like to meet somebody like this, or hey, I'd really like to meet somebody at this one company, or hey, I trying to connect with this person. I don't know if you know them, or if you know somebody like them, connect me with them. Make it really easy. Like, be a good recipient of a gift by making it easy. It's like, think about like when somebody says, what can I get you for your birthday? And you go, oh, I don't know. You're not being easy. You're making it hard on the other person. I do this all the time. I say I don't want anything. I'm making it hard on my family to give me something. So don't be hard to help. Make it really easy, and then the person will basically want to do it, and great. So be a good recipient. That's part of the giving mindset, is be a good recipient. And if you can't do it, here's an interesting tip. And this comes from Dr. Cialdini. He's the author of the book Influence. I've talked about him a lot. I talk about him in my book, The Fast and Easy Guide to Networking for Introverts. And I talk about, he's the reciprocity. He's the person where I learned that from, the person where I learned about the Chinese fortune cookie and why they do that and how that increases tips because they're giving you something and you want to give back. He says that one of the things you can do if you don't have anything to ask for is, after you've helped somebody and they say, oh my gosh, that was great, I'd really love to help you, what can I do for you? You can say something like, it was no problem, I was happy to help. I know when I'm in a similar situation, you'll do the same for me. So that's very intentional, that language, because what you're saying is, I know you're going to help me at some point in the future, and that's when you can pay me back. Basically, that's what you're saying. And again, the language is really intentional. It's not if I ever need something in the future. It's when I need something in the future. So you're basically setting their expectations that you are going to reach out to them at some point. You are going to have an ask that's easy for them to do, and that they'll be able to help you and they'll feel good. They'll walk away feeling like, okay, good, there's going to be an opportunity for me to balance these scales of the universe. And I'm expecting that Greg's going to come back and ask me for something. Now, that doesn't mean make it hard. That doesn't mean like you say to them, hey, I need you to like go get me a job. It's, again, still be easy to help, but you're setting that expectation. So that's what you can do if you forget. The worst thing you can do is say like, oh no, it's nothing, don't do anything for me, because you're making the other person feel badly because you've helped them and they don't have a chance to reciprocate. They're going to walk away from it not feeling as good about it, whether it's conscious or subconscious. So be easy to help, be a good recipient. So 3 things you can do to get into the giving mindset, right? Give without the expectation of getting anything back. Do it for the sake of giving. Make your gifts small. Don't overthink it. And the last one is be a good recipient. Make it easy for people to pay you back. And if you can't, at least set up the expectation that they're going to be able to do it in the future. You go into that mindset with any networking, any sort of networking interaction, you're going to feel pretty good about it. You're not going to be dreading it, and it's probably going to be a lot easier than you thought. Hope that helps. Give it a shot this week. Let me know what you think. If you're still struggling, please reach out to me. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on my newsletter. You can find me on the podcast. I'm on the YouTube channel. Send me an email. My email is all over the place. Send me a message. Let me know if you're struggling with. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to teach people to be better networkers. So go out this week, meet some interesting people, and remember, always be connecting.